Hello there everybody, it is me Leo and welcome back to another video. So today we're back with another speed build and this time we're doing another vintage themed build. This time we're building a house inspired by Googie architecture. So before we start, I just want to let you guys know that I am recording this. It's 5 p.m. It's the peak of rush hour, the train's running, it's freaking crazy outside, there's lots of noise, but I don't think I'm gonna have much time this weekend to actually record anything because my mom's coming over to stay and I don't think I'm gonna have much time because I barely get to spend time with my mom. So if I don't record this right now, I don't think I'm gonna have a lot of time left to get this up for you guys during the weekend. So hopefully you guys bear with me, and apologies for those of you guys who find it uncomfortable to listen to my commentary with all of that noise. But I'm gonna try my best to take all of that noise out in the video as much as I can. So before we start again, I just want to clarify that Googie architecture is a legit architectural style. I think that some people would probably confuse this as just like a Google inspired home, but no, Googie architecture is actually a really popular architectural style, especially for commercial establishments. I don't think it's as popular in residential homes, but I did find this one really cool home in Glendale, California. That was actually my inspiration for the exterior. As you guys can see, if you guys literally just Google Googie architecture home Glendale, it'll show up. You guys will see that it's almost like exactly the same as what I've done, and you guys can see that in terms of the shape, I literally like copied it brick by brick, or in this case pixel by pixel, anyway, but I tried to at least do a different color scheme on the outside at first, but I didn't see how I was gonna be able to improve on the design, so I just went ahead and just copied the real life color scheme. So yeah, I just want to put that out there because I do like to give credit where credit is due and all that good stuff. So anyway, this is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom home, and it's really fun. I actually had a lot of fun with this build. I really did. I did not expect it to come out so well, especially because I was a little bit apprehensive at first to use a lot of the items that came with, you know, bowling stuff, because it was a little bit cartoony, but you know what? I took a chance and I was actually really surprised at how well everything came together. So I was really happy. Anyway, for those of you guys who are not familiar with Googie architecture, it was actually brought about by this phenomenon that we architects call urban sprawl. It's basically this phenomenon where there's uncontrollable expansion of urban areas. And in the US, this happened mainly after the Second World War. Most major cities expanded beyond city limits and the birth of suburbia, as they say. But one of the things that made this possible was transportation. More and more people were getting cars. And also, because of this, there were a lot of developments when it came to building commercial establishments, specifically a lot of roadside restaurants and cafes. And in fact, the term Googie architecture actually comes from a cafe in Hollywood designed by John Lautner, I believe. I believe it was like the Googie Cafe or something like that. I don't know. But that's basically where it all started, in restaurant design. Who knew? But yeah, most of you guys probably know as well that after the war was the atomic age. You know, technology was all the rage and people were really excited but also kind of apprehensive with all the new technologies, but generally that was also reflected into the predominant arts movement at the time, which mainly involved a lot of influence from space travel and nuclear power, nuclear energy. But a lot of the shapes of Googie architecture actually reflects this. Specifically, there's a train passing by, I'm so sorry. But yeah, specifically like the atomic shapes and rocket ships and boomerangs, anything in motion, you know, so a lot of shapes that are really elongated and curvaceous, as they would say. They also had a lot of diagonals, so I really wanted to incorporate that. So I added this extra little area at the back. I really like that. I feel like it really elevated the whole design. So I was really happy that I had thought about that because that was not part of my plan at first. But another really interesting shape of generally just the Googie style of visual art is the palette shape. I know that for many of you guys, this probably doesn't sound like anything, but for my generation, and hopefully for a lot of the millennials out there, I recognize this style from the Hanna-Barbera cartoons, specifically Jetsons. I think that the Jetsons are just like a perfect comparison for this, but also the Flintstones. They do have that like similar sort of like aesthetic and art style in general. So if you have seen any of those, I think you would pretty much have a really good idea of what I'm talking about. But as for the build itself, I gotta say, I did so many really fun things in this build, and one of the things that I really wanted to do was this open floor plan because that's just a generally really popular choice for most modernist style architectures. But another thing I noticed about a lot of vintagey homes was this shelf incorporated into the staircase. So I wanted to do that. I've seen them do it in Falling Water by Frank Lloyd Wright, so I just had to have that in this build as well. Also, I love this idea of having to go underneath the stairs to get to the kitchen. I thought that that was a really clever little idea. I'm really happy that I thought about that. I also really like the bar with the shelf on top of it. Oh, by the way, I don't think I've really talked much about the outside, but mainly I chose yellow and red for the outside with some orange details, and I'm so freaking worried that people will just think I was trying to build a McDonald's. McDonald's? No, I was not trying to build a McDonald's, even though it literally looks like that. But I just copied that one house in Glendale that I was talking about earlier. I literally just copied the color scheme for that one. So yeah, I think the outside turned out really good actually, especially once you see the whole finished effect with the landscaping and stuff came out so well. So back to the interior. I gotta say, I was really surprised at how well a lot of the items came out, because I've thrown some shade at the stuff that came with bowling stuff, and I said that they were kind of like parodies of mid-century modern as opposed to like really classy, sophisticated, but I feel like they're perfect for Googie style because they've got that exaggerated look. They got that neon colors, which is also really a popular color choice for Googie architecture. As like Googie architecture, I think I've said that like 10 million times, but I gotta say, bowling stuff did not let me down on this one, so in a way it's kind of redeemed itself. So I used a lot of that. For the inside, I didn't try to go too over the top and crazy. I just kept it really fun and I don't want to say simple, fun and really, I guess, like, I don't know what I'm like. It's really fun, and I guess there's a lot of personality, I guess, because I built another mid-century home a couple of weeks ago, and I feel like these two could not be further apart from each other in terms of the style and in terms of the overall feel of it. Once again, the train is passing by. Oh, it's so annoying. It's so loud. I'm so sorry. But my other mid-century modern build I felt like was a little bit more sophisticated, whereas this one I was really trying to explore that aspect of fun and nostalgia. So speaking of fun, there's a lot of bright colors and there's also a lot of fun activities. So very early on I knew that I wanted to have a lot of like play items. I do not know how to talk. I knew that I wanted to have a lot of like fun items, you know. So I don't normally get to use a lot of these items, but I was able to use a lot of them in this build. I put that foosball in the middle of like the main living area, and I think that that should be really telling as to my intentions for this. Also, I threw in a couple of neon lights because I don't think I've ever used a lot of those before, so that's that. But generally, I just went for something that was really colorful and really vibrant. The interior color scheme has a lot of pastels, and pastels is a very popular vintage color scheme, but I also incorporated a lot of natural textures like wooden textures, and you know, natural warm and neutral tones, and that is more vintage Scandinavian, so I kind of like mixed two and two together. I gotta say I also really liked the kitchen as well. I was so happy with how I was able to put together all of these different items, and it looks really awesome actually. I was really happy with it. I really loved using these vintage kitchen set with a stove and with a fridge that came with Jungle Adventure. They just look perfect for that vintage style. Also, I didn't really have a specific person in mind when I started building this, but eventually as I, you know, went on into the build, I established that I wanted this person to really like vintage memorabilia. Maybe they can be like a collector of vintage memorabilia. They're also really into cats. Like they can have like one cat. So I did put everything that a cat should need. Train alert, I can hear it coming. I'm so sorry for all of this distraction. But yeah, I did put like enough stuff so that a cat could live happily in this house, I hope. So yeah, I also put that nice little no, it's not a poster, it's like a painting, I guess, wall decor of the cats and dogs, but I replaced that actually because as we go on later into the build, I also established that whoever lives here really likes vintage movies and is probably like a collector of vintage memorabilia. I think I've said that. Like literally deja vu. But yeah, they collect vintage memorabilia including old movie posters. So yeah, I kind of replaced a lot of the artworks that I put initially with movie posters that are in the game. And yeah, generally whoever lives here loves to have fun. I also imagine them to be kind of like a blogger or like a YouTuber or something like that. And that actually came in really late because when I was furnishing the master bedroom, I was like, you guys will see it later on. I'm gonna save that story for when we're furnishing the master bedroom. But yeah, this home also has like a laundry area, as you guys can see, but I gotta say I really enjoyed this guest bedroom area downstairs, mainly because I use a lot of the items that I don't normally use, like that bed. It's one that came with Outdoor Retreat, and I don't think I've ever used that bed in a build before, but for a guest bedroom I thought that was perfect because we have a bed and we also have like a little sofa bed because I used that one chair from what was that stuff back again? I forgot. It's the one that everyone hated. Ooh, I'm throwing shade. No, it's my first pet stuff. So yes. I gotta say, I feel like in all of my builds I used that sofa, so who knew? Like literally doing this build gave me an appreciation for a couple of the stuff packs that I initially just did not like, and I still don't love them, but it made me appreciate what they offered, and it also gave me some sort of satisfaction for actually buying them. Such as the bowling stuff and my first pet stuff. But yeah, I think this was the point where I was like, you know what, this spot would be perfect for like a vintagey looking movie poster. So yeah, I kind of just developed the character of whoever was living here as I was building it, which I thought was such an interesting way to do things. But in this room, I actually put the poster for the Sims version of what I'm assuming is a Little Shop of Horrors. And I do think I moved that later on into the bedroom, and I replaced it with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre or something like that. So yeah, I had to cut out the parts where I was furnishing all of the bathrooms because I didn't want the video to be too long, and the bathrooms didn't really have anything. Just know that that's where I put one of the litter boxes. And yes, we do have 2 full bathrooms in this home. That little tiny area to the left is actually a bathroom. It's got a bathtub, shower, sink, and a toilet, and all of it works. I did test this out. Everything works fine. So yeah, you guys shouldn't have any problem with that. By the way, the Sims can actually watch TV while sitting down on a bed. Just wanted to let you guys know that that was a thing. You know, so that's why I always put TVs like on the bedrooms, because the Sims can actually sit on the bed and they can watch TV. I also put a nice little fishbowl, but I put a lot of cat sculptures in this build. You guys can probably like do like Where's Waldo thing and spot all of the little cat sculptures that I tried to incorporate here, because that was really fun. And those are the ones that came with cats and dogs naturally. But yeah, I also put this little dressing room area, which kind of worries me a little bit, because like there's literally like a really big window right next to it, and I'm just like, how is anybody gonna change in that? But I mean, they can just close the curtains and it'll all be fine. Okay, so this is my favorite part of the bedroom. This is the reason why the bedroom is my favorite part. This is perfect. So I used this love seat that's supposed to go on like a bay window. I used it as kind of like a sofa type thing for somebody using the computer. Yes, I would totally love this. Like, I would literally move here on this bedroom, because I just love the idea of having a sofa for a computer chair, and like that awesome looking computer. Like, it looks like it's an alien, whatever. Once again, I feel like it does tie into the Googie architecture. It's a little bit quirky, it's a little bit eccentric, very, very fun, I have to say. Oh, I actually included some footage of me putting that litter box, and you guys probably just saw a little sneak peek of the toilet as well. I think at this point most of the interior is done, but gotta say, I'm patting myself on the back in terms of everything, because I'm just so happy. Like, the interior really surprised me. It really did. I didn't expect it to come out that well. So yeah, it took me about 4 hours to do this build overall, a little bit over 4 hours, so I did put a lot of thought into everything. I also had to edit out a lot of the video, like a lot. But hopefully you guys, you know, can still see the whole process. I hope I included all of the important things. So yeah, anyway, we are now furnishing the backyard. I put like a hedge thing. I noticed that that's kind of like really common in a lot of mid-century modern homes. Oh, by the way, I feel like this is my first build where I left the ground like sand, you know. Usually I would paint the terrain with terrain paint, and I would usually make it grass, but in this case I just left it sand, which gives me some sort of apprehension because later on you guys will see I put like a little I don't know what those are called, those like water slide things, but it's like, I don't know what you call them. It's like those water slide things, the ones that came with backyard stuff. And I wonder if you live in a desert, if you slide on those, you'll just slide on rocks. So I thought about making the backyard like completely paved with like cement blocks, but I just thought leaving it with sand was the better option. But yeah, we're now doing these planter beds, and I tried to make them like these amoeba shapes. Once again, very, you know, very Googie, if I do say so myself. Yeah, I really like that. The roofs actually are like pointy. They flare out, and that was also like a nice little aspect of Googie architecture that I forgot to talk about. They do prefer roofs that extend out and flare out as opposed to flat roofs, which is some sort of a popular choice for more mid-century, especially Palm Springs style. But for the landscaping outside, I used a lot of deserty looking plants, lots of succulents, lots of aloe plants, and lots of cacti. I don't think I've actually done a build where I used a lot of cacti, except for maybe like a build or two a couple of years ago, but I was really happy with how the landscaping came out. I also knew that I wanted to add a flamingo. Like those like freaking flamingo sculptures are freaking iconic. And I just had to have them, so I put a couple of them. One, I put like a gnome riding it. I did not actually know that that existed. And then the other one, it was just like a normal flamingo. And by the way, I also put these beautiful sunflowers. I don't really use sunflowers that much. Like actually a lot of the items in this build I don't really use. I kind of gave myself that sort of goal to use as many items that I don't normally gravitate to in this build, and I'm just really happy because it really paid off in the end. I'm super proud of myself. But you guys just saw me place the flamingos, and right now we're placing these water slides. Don't know what they're called, but yeah, these are these slippy slidey things. This is giving me so much nostalgia, by the way, because growing up I watched the Jetsons, but I also had like, I've always dreamed about having like a kiddie pool, and we finally got one when I was like maybe 8 years old or 10 years old or something. It was pretty short-lived though, because my brother and I would not get out of it, and at some point, like a couple of days into it, we got rashes. I don't know why. Also, I felt so bad for my dad who had to inflate it with like a freaking manual pump. We didn't have electric pumps back then. Anyway, that was just a nice little side story I wanted to tell you guys. But yeah, I feel like this build has a lot of nostalgia. So hopefully you guys really like it. I really do. I'm super happy with it. That's why I also included so much of the footage. Like I could have easily edited out a lot of the footage, but I just chose to include a lot of it, even though the video is a little bit longer. And I know that a lot of people don't like longer videos, but I just did so many fun things in this build that I felt like needed to be seen, so that's why. But anyway, we are furnishing kind of like the last parts of this build. So we got this outdoor dining area, and also like there's a bar as well, somewhere in like the balcony or the veranda lanai area. And then I think pretty much to wrap up this build, I'm just gonna throw in a couple of lighting fixtures. I really enjoyed using these lantern-like lights. I really like those. So I used them quite a bit on the outside and also I believe on the bedroom as well. So this is pretty much it for this build, it looks like. Oh yeah, actually still have to put like some more lights on the planter beds, but other than that, it's pretty much it for this Googie home. So hopefully you guys learned a little bit of something, and hopefully you guys had fun watching this video. And I hope you guys enjoyed enough to help support the channel by clicking that subscribe button, and also leaving a like and a comment will be very much appreciated as well. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up right here. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. You all have an awesome day. Enjoy the rest of the video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.